back to Elevation 44, where we learn how to master our energy. It's your girl B. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back, family. Okay, so today we're diving right into another weekly astrology report. And if you're new to my channel, I do these weekly reports so that you can know what energies are at play during the week, what to expect, what to use to your advantage, what challenges may be coming up. So if you gotta duck and dodge, you already know in advance that it's coming, okay? So this is why I bring you these weekly astrology reports, so we know what's going on above, right? As above, so below. So we are definitely impacted. I'm gonna get right into this week's report. I will say that the overall arching theme I see here for this week is this is a good time for healing, okay? And I think that's what I'm gonna name this video. Time to heal, time for healing, all right? So the first things first, we have a lot of lingering energies coming from the previous week or the previous weeks, okay? The sun is still going to be making a harmonious aspect with Mars, okay? So the sun in Leo and Mars is currently in the sign of Aries, both fire signs, and they are trining, okay? So that means that there is a harmonious aspect happening between both of these planetary energies, and that we can expect to still see, I can't even say it, still see the energy uptick. So we still might be feeling very energetic and may be having a lot of boost of energy because, again, these planets, Mars and then the sun, are in their home signs of Leo and Aries respectively. So there's a lot of fire energy. They're both at home, so they're operating in their strongest sense. And so that energy is definitely being felt here, especially when they join up and blend their energies harmoniously like that. So expect the energy boost and ride the wave, okay? Because just like there's a high, there will be a low. So enjoy the energy boost if you are getting it. And also the boost to the confidence and just kind of that go get 'em spirit, right? Like you might have a lot of confidence and just wanting to like go after things directly, right? So again, enjoy that. Also last week, what kicked off was Mars. Mars was squaring, which means having tension with Jupiter and Pluto. And this week, we're still seeing that, and now we're gonna add Saturn into the mix, okay? So Mars and Aries, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are hanging out in the sign of Capricorn, and they're all retrograding. So there's a lot of interesting things going on there. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. At the top of the week, we have the moon in focus, okay? And before I even dive into this, I'm gonna go ahead and say, for those of you who did the survey, I just want to stop and thank you very, very quickly. I had a survey, if you are unaware, that I had links to on this channel, and I was asking for everybody to give their feedback on more information on what they'd like to see going forward. And a lot of you filled out that survey, so I am forever grateful. Thank you so much for participating and letting me know what you want to see more in terms of content, and I have lots of exciting things coming your way. So I just wanted to stop and thank you really quickly for everybody who filled out that survey. Okay, so back into the report. So at the top of the week, right out the gate, we're dealing with the moon. And what's happening is the moon, currently in the sign of Aries, okay? And it is creating tension with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn. So there is a square happening. Tension is happening between the moon and everyone else hanging out in Capricorn, okay? So the good news about this transit is that the moon is a quickly transiting energy. So it only stays in a sign for about 2.5 days before it moves on to the next sign. So this is not gonna last very long. It's at the top of the week and then should really like fizzle out very, very quickly, but it is bringing in some tension in the beginning of the week. So we're talking about excess, okay? Going overboard on food, alcohol, and drugs. Yes, there's a tendency to do that, okay? Also, changeable moods, feeling depressed and restricted in nature, especially when it comes to your feelings and in your relationships. You can have feelings of sadness, guilt, and loneliness at the beginning of the week. And while you might be feeling very like social, because that Aries moon is an action-oriented moon, right? Because it's got that Aries energy and spirit, and I'm an Aries moon, so no one can tell you more about this Aries energy, moon energy than me, but it's very action oriented. It's a go get 'em type of energy, and just very like, can be very impulsive and impatient, and just like, you know, right? So you might be feeling that energy, like, I want to go out there and you know, socialize and make things happen and move and shake, but it might not be feeling like a good time to socialize for some of you, because, you know, of all of the other influences with that tension coming in with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, okay? So you might be feeling on one end or the other, either social or not social. So it really just depends on how it's impacting your chart personally. And I will say that these reports are overarching energies, okay? For the collective, things will always impact you a little bit differently depending on the placements in your chart and how the transiting planets are talking to your natal planets, okay? So just keep that in mind every time that I give these reports. All right, so in addition to this, you know, energy kind of being, you know, one where you can feel sadness, you can feel lonely, you can feel depressed, you might be feeling social, you might not be feeling social. You can also have compulsive and destructive behaviors come to the surface, because again, when I talk about that Aries energy is on that impulse, okay? And then when you add that with the moon, which is all about our emotional selves, like those that, you know, compulsive behaviors are very, very, very likely and very real, okay? And we'll likely be dealing with a lot of intense emotions, which will be hard to control. But the good news is that you can use this to your advantage for healing if you allow those emotions and things come to the surface and allow yourself to release them. So if you try not to control too much and you just allow yourself to feel and bring those things up, it can actually be very healing for you, okay? Now, like I introed at the beginning of the video, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn is squaring off with Mars in Aries. So, you know, the moon is in Aries at the top of the week. Mars is still in Aries and is going to be in Aries for a couple more months. But I want to talk a little bit more about this energy. So this is also going to be lending itself into another impulsive wave, okay? So that tension between Mars and these three planets in Capricorn, we're going to be feeling, again, that impulse, okay? But we're also going to be getting more frustrated and feeling more restricted from maybe our authority figures, because now the Saturn influence has come to the table. Before it was just tension with Jupiter and Pluto. Now Saturn is here to say restrictions and frustrations, and this is likely to come down from authority figures. So it could be a boss, it could be, you know, your parents. It can be, you know, someone in authority. It could be a government official, people who are in leadership, bringing down restrictions, okay? So I wouldn't be surprised to see this play out on the main stage, especially since, you know, Capricorn rules our business, our government, our foundations, our structures. I wouldn't be surprised to see this play out on the world stage, okay? So just keep this in mind. So this is also going to be a carryover from last week when I say this is not a good time to really take risk, especially in the business front, okay? And you want to be able to express your energy and let your energy out through a healthy outlet like exercise. You want to paint, you want to draw, you want to bike, you want to a mountain climb, you want to hike, whatever you want to do, use a healthy channel for getting that energy out. Or you can very, very well go into a place where you're likely to have anger and outburst, okay? So just go ahead and make sure that your energy is being released in a very good way. And again, this is another week. I feel like this might be a good week to go solo dolo and do solo pursuits when it comes to your business ventures, okay? And maybe just in general, especially if you're not feeling very social at the top of the week. All right. Then I also want to mention with this this entire energy cycle here with Mars making tension with these 3 planets, we can also still see those energy boosts, right? Especially because Mars is also making that harmonious aspect with the sun, but we are, gonna have a tendency to do that crash and burn cycle where we feel really, really high and then we crash, okay? So again, tempering out your energy is gonna be important this week. Now, another thing at the top of the week that is happening with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, they're like at the bottom of everything this week, okay? Is that more tension is happening as Lilith is also hanging out in the sign of Aries still, and this is also a carryover. Some of this energy is a carryover from the previous week, and some of this energy is new. Saturn is now in the mix, okay? So with Lilith squaring Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, okay, that is tension, okay? So what is happening here is that there is these planets are wanting to push Lilith's energy to expand, but harmful habits and just Lilith's nature of chaos and rebellion is getting in the way of self-growth, okay? So these are things that you want to keep in mind for yourself, okay? So because Lilith is our most chaotic, raw energy, and those natural impulses and those natural reactions that come from our rawest form, okay? So these reactions, these habits can be getting in the way of expansion, and especially with Jupiter at play. Jupiter wants to expand Lilith, and Lilith's like, nah, not having it, okay? So this energy can make us also paranoid about losing our freedom and individuality, and we can go to extreme measures to protect that freedom and individuality. Again, like I said, that's that raw instinctual self, okay? So we could lend itself to secrecy, manipulation, lies, and hostility, okay? So self-limitations and lack of self-control is really the biggest underlying thing here that you want to watch for as Lilith is having tension with those 3 planets. All right, so the next thing that I will talk about is Chiron, okay? Chiron is in Aries still, okay? And Chiron is the wounded healer, okay? So that is our wounded, that's our soul wounds that we're carrying with us through this lifetime. Now, Chiron is making a harmonious aspect to Mercury that just moved into Leo last week, okay? So the channel seems to be open for healing communication, okay? So things that are often unsaid or people wouldn't speak of because it's too painful, this is the perfect opportunity for those things to come to the surface, okay? It's a great time to heal your wounds by expressing the things that are just like in your deepest part of your soul, that hurt and that suffer and that pain that you feel. You can let that thing out and heal, okay? And that's why I said, the whole theme to me of this entire week is kind of healing. There's a lot of tension happening, but it's also good for bringing a lot of things to the surface to help us heal. So I will say that this is not necessarily a bad thing, although it can maybe feel uncomfortable in the moment. This can be used to our advantage, all right? Another thing Chiron is doing, which is it's having tension with Venus in Cancer. And Venus just moved into Cancer last week as well, okay? And Venus is all about how we love, how we express our love, what's our sensuality, like that type of energy, okay? So with this tension happening between Chiron, the wounded healer, and our planet of love, we can have conflicts. It could dredge up insecurity in our intimate relationships, okay? And One thing that I said last week is that when Venus moves into Cancer, Cancer is an energy that is very nurturing, wants to be loved, wants to love on. You know what I mean? It's just very like, just wants that soft and fuzziness, but is an energy that can be easily railroaded and taken advantage of, okay? So with this tension happening with Chiron, we could be holding on to people that are unable to commit or don't want, like we can just have smoke screens up and all of that can be revealed at this time, right? Because we are in a position where we're allowing ourselves to be taken advantage of, and now we're going to be kind of pushed into a corner to see a lot of these things, okay? We're gonna have to face some painful events, some of us, okay? This could be changes or even endings in our most intimate relationships, okay? And this is a great time to then focus on finding love from within and from, you know, getting that self-love and the thing that we're seeking from outside of ourselves, finding it within ourselves. Hold on one second, my light went off, so let me turn that back on. Okay, sorry about that. I have this light is on a timer and sometimes it just cuts off right in the middle of the video. So I don't want the video to be too dark. I hope you guys don't mind. Anyway, let's continue on. So another thing that's gonna be happening this week is that Venus, okay, which is currently hanging out in Cancer, is going to be making a harmonious aspect with Uranus in Taurus, okay? Now, this can bring unexpected challenges in love relationships that are imbalanced. So again, doubling down on what Chiron is doing with Venus, here comes Venus and Uranus. They're making a harmonious aspect, but it's also bringing some of these things to light, okay? So like I said, unexpected challenges in love relationships that are imbalanced. Keyword, imbalanced, okay? This may push us to have changes or freedom if we're unsatisfied in our relationships. This is also energy that can lend itself to a lot of experimentation, which can be fun if you're in a good situation. And it can lead to impulsiveness, especially in spending, because with Uranus being in Taurus and Taurus being kind of like our money energy, our financial energy, our material energy, you know, we can get to spending really quickly. So we want to hold on to those coins, especially with all this impulsive energy in the air. So yes, even though those planets are making a harmonious aspect, a lot of the things that they're dredging up are going to be uncomfortable if things are not in balance in your relationships, okay? And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about for the week is that Mercury is going to be making a harmonious aspect with Mars, and Mercury in Leo and Mars in Aries, both fire signs. We're going to have a boost in our mental energy and concentration. Our minds will be sharp, razor sharp, so this is a good time for studying, digesting information, and just really breaking things down, right? This is also a favorable time for communication, and because we're gonna have our confidence is gonna be on 10, so we're gonna be able to persuade people through, you know, our conversation, what we want them to do for us, things that we want to get them on board with. So this is a good time for communication because our confidence is just boosted, okay? So overall, I would say this is a great week for healing because a lot of energy is lending itself to that. So the pros of this week are continued high energy, again, good time for inner healing, a good time for communications and expressing yourself. Some of the challenges over the week is overindulgence on food, drugs, or alcohol, intense emotions or moods, conflicts in love, and impulsiveness, okay, of all forms, especially watching your wallet. Don't go on a shopping spree online, okay? All right, so here are the herbs that I would recommend you working with this week. Lemon balm would be one of them because, again, we're going to be kind of dredging up a lot of emotional issues, and it's a really good platform for healing this week for the energy. So I think lemon balm would be my #1 recommendation because that is really a good heart-centered herb that helps you with processing emotional issues and all of that type of thing. Another one that I'm gonna throw in is actually a flower, which is rose, okay? And you can use the herb, the dried form of the flower, in a multitude of ways, okay? You can bake it into cookies, you can drink it as a tea, you can throw it and sprinkle it in your bath. You can just do so many things with the rose. You can also use it in essential oil form. So if you want to put it in a body butter, put it in an oil, rub it on your skin, use it in an essential oil diffuser. You can use it in a multitude of ways as well. And then the crystal that I would recommend you also working with this week, just to kind of help you get through some of those, tougher emotional conversations and get through healing, is rose quartz, okay? So that is it. That is all I have for you this week. I hope this weekly energy report is helpful to you in helping you navigate your week. I hope that these are just helpful in general. Again, if you like these, please give a thumbs up, because when you give a thumbs up, it gets the video and pushes the video out to more people so that they also are able to see and get this information as well. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe below if you enjoy this type of content. I have tons more good stuff coming your way, especially since you guys filled out that survey. I am ready to really bring it, okay? So I hope you have a good rest of your week. I will see you in the next video. Peace.